And we are live. Hello and good day or evening to all you lovely co-workers tonight. Hello, Summer. Welcome to the stream. We are, this week, we're going to be looking at some indie visual novels. So let me know too if the sound ever gets too loud on the mic or background music. Just trying to adjust my settings here a little bit. There we go. But yeah, so there's the Fall in Love visual novel festival on Steam. So there essentially were a bunch of indie games that these developers wanted to showcase to everyone. And like I did get a couple of reach outs from a lot of different developers, and it was really cool to check out their games. The festival's running from basically this week until October 1st, but because I only stream two times a week, I can only really fit in two of the visual novels that the developers reached out to me about. So there were some other games that I was like, oh, kind of interested, but this week we'll be focusing on Spell Candle and Sigh of the Abyss. So with the limited time I had to actually showcase stuff in this festival, these were the two that I ended up first agreeing to. So yeah, this is kind of what our week is starting to look like. It's kind of neat though, the amount of visual novels now that are in development and out there. The Kickstarter for this game just went live tonight. So we're checking out the demo for this game for now, and if we like it, we can support it on the Kickstarter, Kickstarter page. So let's see what is in store for us. I mean, I read the synopsis of the plot, but I'm still going into it pretty blind overall. I'm like, there's some good looking guys on there. One of them looks more like a merman, the other one looks more like a lion man. I'm like, you know what? Sure, let's go for it. We'll go right in and see. So we'll start off. How far are you willing to go to contain war in the glass dome? How many parents would you be willing to sacrifice? How many brothers would you kill? Would you grow numb to the pain, become a zealous leader, willing to sacrifice anything for the greater good? Turn a blind eye to the orphans on the streets, ignore those disabled begging for coin. Steal, bribe, and extort for a chance at peace. How many decisions would leave you lying awake at night, counting the souls you sent to the slaughter? Can living in war for millennia truly be considered life? A loud whistle breaks the silence, rendering the carriage to a sudden stop. The tip of my quill shatters as it smashes into the paper before I can put down my next thought on the page. Oh, okay. Are we like writing a little story? Identity control? The shout comes from the outside and I put my notepad down, scoffing at the ruined nib. This was the third one today and I'm tempted to throw my hands up in frustration and scream. I was selected to be the Arisian delegation reporter for this year's Dread Festival. It should be considered a great honor to be able to report on your country's political victories, no matter how small. But you can't expect a caged bird to sing happily. I reach into my leather satchel to find my identification documents before stepping out of my petite carriage. I feel pleased by the chance to stretch my legs, annoyed to have to go through this, or curious to finally get a peek at the outside, or enthusiastic that we've likely almost reached our destination. How are we feeling about the carriage ride? Pleased by the chance, annoyed, curious, or enthusiastic? I mean, I'm sure it'd be nice to stretch the legs after sitting in the carriage for who knows how long. Just a few feet ahead, an elven woman is going through the papers of an older gentleman from our contingent. And what role do you fulfill within this delegation? Her voice is like the sharp pointed end of an ancient spear. I am the senator representing the region of the Beastlands. The elf sniffs the air around the delegate and frowns. She's beautiful, glimmering mercury eyes peeking out from underneath short bangs, the color of milky quartz. I'm like, do we get to see her? Her skin, like deep iron ore, glitters gently in the rays of daylight. After a very thorough read of the man's identification documents, she hands them back to him without a word. I find myself nervous as the elf's long, knife-like ears twitch and her attention shifts to me. I'd never seen anything like it. Her cold gaze examines me from head to toe before she reaches a hand out. Identification documents. I hand them over and she scans through them quickly. Oh, enter your name here. Okay. That's why we need our identification. Choose your pronouns. Okay, we'll go with she, her. We get choices though. Oh, what role do you fulfill within this delegation? Okay, so we get some choices. So we're either selected by Emperor to take account of the Dread Festival. I'm here to report on beneficial relationship. I'll be writing a positive piece, or I plan to record our general's involvement in foreign affairs for our newspaper. We don't really know anything much about this world here, so it's really hard to actually make an informed choice, because I really don't know. Emperor, for a beneficial relationship, positive peace, so the leadership, record our general's involvement in foreign affairs. I'm just gonna say I'm here to report on the mutually beneficial relationship between our nations. What to say? I don't really know much of the details. Her eyebrows raise slightly at my response. After a moment, she nods, accepting my explanation. And your general, where could I find him? The question perplexes me. Though the delegation had been traveling for several weeks, I haven't encountered the infamous Shadow Master once. Had I? Upon seeing my bewildered expression, the elf offers a small explanation. He was not in his carriage. Perhaps he got bored of being confined in a turbulent box for days. A voice responds before I can open my mouth to formulate an apology. I step back from the carriage and seek out its source. Oh, hello there, sir. Upon the wooden roof of my small carriage relaxed one of the most beautiful gentlemen I had ever seen. With his eyes closed, his expression was so serene that I found myself wondering if I'd misheard him speak. He's just chilling there. Like, what's he doing on top of the carriage? Shadow Master, may day and night preserve you. The man on the roof of my carriage opened his eyes and leveled the woman with a cold gaze. His eyes were the color of the flags of our empire. The color of blood and dangerous, forbidden things. Latimore. Okay, that's your name. Latimore. I could hear the elven woman swallow from beside me so vividly that I wonder if the world around us had fallen quiet on purpose. May I please see your documents, General? A frown crossed his features before he quietly sat up, slid his feet over to the edge of the carriage, and jumped down with the grace of a cat. Here. He pushed a stack of documents that was so thick into the hands of the elf that it made me gape. It might take you a few days. He smirked and I wondered where on himself he kept a pocket large enough to hold all that paper. I don't know. He just pulled it out from somewhere in his pockets. In some hammer space. The elf blinked, scanning through the first few pages, and then flipped through the next few with shaky hands, her face growing paler by the second. We want to peek at the papers and keep watching him. So, something about those papers, I would say. I don't know. Oh, hello, Monica! Nice of you to drop in! So we just see how I'm playing to the start of the game here. You have a very nice, calm yet deep voice. Oh, thank you very much. Okay, what choices do we want to make here? Let's peek into the papers, even though he's literally just watching us. Oh, we catch the words. Permitted legal assassination, poisoning at discretion, lawful use of force to acquire necessary information, including dismemberment. Okay, so he has like the Yeo cop equivalent of a warrant, except with, I guess, assassinations included on that. Okay, cool. Not dangerous at all. The elf suddenly thrusts the pages back at the general and gives him a shaky nod and a thank you before wobbling off to the next carriage. Oh, she was spooked. She was spooked. Was that necessary? The man's notorious crimson gaze turns to me. She asked for my papers. He shrugged. It wasn't my fault that she wasn't ready for what was on them. Somehow this behavior does little to surprise me. I mean, you know, she did ask for it. Sure, we want to say something. You may have been considerate, you know, give her a heads up. And why would I do that? His eyebrows rose in challenge and I found myself searching for a response to give him. Because you're the Shadow Master. You think the ever-powerful elven aspects don't know which general is being sent into their city as a peace tribute every year? I blink at his response. That's fair. And a comfortable silence falls over us, and I notice the way his gaze wanders down below my waist, scrutinizing me. Okay, I'm sorry you don't like what you see below the belt there. A frown crosses his lips. I follow his eyes and... oh fuck, the inkwell I had left on the seat beside me must have spilled when the carriage came to a sudden halt. I'm like, okay, did I pee myself? No, okay. But I did spill ink on my pants. He is staring pointedly at the large black stain on the side of my pants. Don't worry about that, sir. Just, you know... it's just my time of the month. It's just in the, you know, different color. I hope you're not planning on wearing that to the welcome dinner. I'm like... I don't think... like, you don't have to point it out to me. Of course not. I highly suggest not embarrassing yourself or the Empire by doing so. What a character! Everything about this man was irritating. Oh, don't we love it? It's like, as soon as he opens his mouth. Okay, I won't. The look he gave me was one of complete apathy. I grit my teeth. A loud high-pitched whistle traveled from the gates ahead of us. Someone is giving us all the all clear. The clicking of metallic hinges echoed in the air, and I take it as my sign to return to the peace of my small carriage. I hope you have a good day, General. There wasn't a single sincere word in that sentence. Because if you're like, okay, it's like, fine, you know what? Have a good day, I guess. He raised a set of eyebrows as I stepped into my carriage. Making sure to avoid the spilled ink, I turned around and shut the door in his face. A childish reaction, but his expression was well worth it. It's like when you like enter in a door or you exit a room and you slam the door dramatically behind you. Hi Miru! Thanks for dropping in the stream. We just met the first love interest of the game. With blood pounding in my ears, I found a clean place to sit before the carriage resumed its movement shortly after, entering Omnis, the city of candle wax. Very nice. The capital city of the elves. I found myself eagerly peeking out through the window, making a continuous effort to forget the fact that I may have just angered one of the most dangerous men on the eastern continent. You know, the one that has literally authorization to poison and assassinate. No biggie. My eyes wander between the many tall buildings made of marble, adorned with golden embellishment. before lingering on the rectangular houses with roofs assembled from slabs of multicolored quartz. They're illuminated by the withdrawing river of light, the path of the goddess of day. All structures bask in the warm rays, coloring in various shades of brilliant oranges and golds. It is a breathtaking view. We pass under a long archway of stone, upon which I can hear the bubbling of running water. Oh cool, they've got like an aqueduct system going on in the city too. Seems very Roman architectural based sounding so far. Dozens of half-burnt candles of sundry colors and sizes sit atop each visible surface. I find myself itching to see what these streets look like at night. My thoughts quickly bring me back to the journal in my lap. Quickly, I fetch a new quill from my bag and note down my initial impressions. After several days of travel, our delegation has finally arrived at Omnis, the legendary elfin city capital. The gates were guarded strictly and our official documents and identities were checked for validity. They're like border police, I guess. Or to say it's immigration check is probably the more correct term for it. This year, the Great Emperor's leading envoy for the peace celebrations is the Shadow Master. We have to describe him in a positive manner because our job depends on it. He's a very considerate leader. Not really. So far, he sports a unique brand of charm, we'll say, that inspires the awe of everyone around him. Like a hurricane or some other horrible natural disaster. He has a way with words. I am blessed to be able to experience the L's exaltation when around him. At least I'm not the only one terrified of this monster. We meander through the roads for another 20 minutes before the carriage comes to a final stop in front of the only building that looks terribly out of place. Oh wow. The tall rectangular pagoda that serves as the Eris Empire's embassy at Omnis. Okay, because I'm like, everything else seems very like Greek Roman architectural structures and then very Eastern Asian inspired building right here. It's like, I don't want to always make comparisons. I'll be like, oh my god, this character reminds me of this other character from another existing series. But he does kind of give up Zuko vibes in a sense, but you know, before Zuko like mellowed out. As I disembark, I spot the general already disappearing past the red curtains. He doesn't spare me a glance. Of course, why would he? We made a great first impression from the get-go. Oppressive prick. I'm given a small but pleasantly furnished room in the embassy and quickly ditch my pack in there before heading out into the city. Wow, those are some interesting statues going on in the back there. I need to find a tailor somehow. We, yes, have heard that exact characterization, which means I need to finally watch Avatar. Okay, I'm like, I don't know if I'm the only one that's gonna make this reference, but you know, it's not because I don't want to sound like saying like, oh yeah, this character. I know some people don't like it to compare characters to other existing characters, but I think it's just like the overall vibe so far. But yeah, Avatar: The Last Airbender was a really good series, so if you haven't actually watched it yet, I highly recommend so. It has not the movie, okay, mind you. Watch the animation, the cartoon. But I was there in the theater. I went to the theaters to watch Avatar: The Last Airbender when it was like the live action by what's that director? I forgot his name, Shamila, whatever. But yeah, I watched it in theaters and it was bad. it was not good. So, but Last Airbender, great series. Check it out, we have the time. I need to find a tailor somehow. Tag after the most lavishly dressed. Take a map of the city. Trim most expensive. I mean, it'd probably be easier to ask around or take a map. I don't think I could afford these lavishly dressed or expensive clothing unless they pay me well for my job, but I think I'll just ask around. Be like, hey, can I find a tailor around here? Director was Night Shyamalan. Yes, that's the name I'm thinking about. I'm like, it started with an S. Shyamalan. Yeah, that was unfortunate. I went to see it in theater with friends, but I know I think what they made another live action series, right? I don't think I've actually checked that one out. I've only ever watched the animation though. All languages on the eastern continent come from the same linguistic roots, Fey and Divine. Though initially I struggled a little to understand what the kind lady I stopped to ask for directions is trying to tell me, I make out some orientational words and nod gratefully. It takes me about 15 minutes of walking and skulking around weird alleyways before I spot a cylindrical structure of rose marble. 2 golden curtains embroidered with the large designs of a spool with pink string hung from around its wide open double doors. Dark letters spell out the words, the hour of the golden ones, right above the entrance of the building. Ooh, the hour of the golden ones. It's a pretty nice name for a building. We don't get cool names like that in modern society. We just get like, it's like, we like to simplify titles so that everything is like one word. Even our movie titles are now just one word, but it's like, oh, we need something more epic. The gentle strum of a mandolin came from inside, heart-wrenching, intense, soulful, and yet somehow welcoming. I step inside, yet find myself incapable of spotting a single worker. Anyone here? At least not until 3 shadows of varying sizes shift from behind a paravan of curtains. They speak in some language I do not recognize. I guess I'll just wait here or call out. It's just like the when you walk into a store, you're like, and you know, when like a bunch of employees or clerks behind the counter, they're like talking to each other. I always feel bad like when the employees at wherever establishment I am are having a really good conversation with each other. I'm like, oh no, I kind of need their help, or I need to like check out and buy this thing, but I don't want to interrupt the combo. But I need to actually like leave. Or maybe that's just like a social anxiety thing. I'm just gonna call out though in this case. Excuse me, I'm looking to buy. As I hoped, that made the moving shadows pause behind the paravan. The smallest silhouette, short and stubby, moved to face my direction. Its voice high-pitched and snippy. Now is not a good time. I frowned, but I wasn't about to give up that easily. I need an outfit for a party tonight at the Regent Embassy, please. I kept my tone polite, but I knew an undertone of desperation had slipped in. Have you seen my pants? Have you seen the ink stains around the crotch area? I can't go out looking like this. People are gonna stare. I want to see this general smug expression directed at me tonight. A short silence followed, filled only by the gentle strum of the mandolin. We are very busy and... A predatory growl erupted from behind the paravan. Help her. Oh, thank you, grumble voice. The command rolled through the chamber with a low rumble. I felt myself tense as the tallest figure turned to face me from behind the curtain. But Natura! The growl grew louder. As you wish, Natura. The tone was reverent, obedient. Language now fully switched to common. The caravan of curtains rustled as a short elf that looked to be within the late years of his lifespan stepped out to help me. Right this way. Oh, thank you, Monica. I find that visual novels are like the best time for me to practice my voice acting. Zuko, my favorite, but anyways. Oh, I mean, we've only seen one guy so far, right, Summer? So we're gonna be seeing the others soon. I was quickly led behind another small caravan. I am Cupio, one of the designers of the Hour of the Golden Ones, and your extra hand to look your best today. Will you be needing help undressing? The question caught me off guard. I refused, scandalized by the proposal. I mean, it's nice that they're going through the extra service. I mean, maybe this is a VIP service, you know? I refused politely. Thank you for the offer, but I am accustomed to dressing myself. Cupio nods, surprisingly accepting of my choice. Very well then, I will see what we have that will fit your body while you disrobe. Drape yourself in a plush blanket on the Davenport if you're feeling bare. And do not be concerned, we change them after each client that refuses to take it home with them. Oh wow, this is a really snazzy place. A real VIP service. Before I could process his words, the elf had made his way outside of my changing area. It didn't take long before several beautiful outfits were brought to me. Cupio made it his mission to look everywhere but at my body as he delivered them and exited. His regard for my wishes puts me at ease as I tried on the outfits one by one. Do any of these suit your fancy? Ooh. Oh, it's hard because I can't actually see the dress. Okay, with the power of imagination, a racy blue and white dress made of pearls, conservative black cotton toga, leather two-piece blouse with matching pants, a ceremonial red and white robe of silk with black embroidered sash. Ooh, these all sound really good. I mean, personally, I am so biased for the colors purple and red, so ceremonial red and white robe of silk with black embroidered sash. Oh, that sounds kind of nice. I mean, I'm curious what you guys would pick if you had to pick a dress or outfit out of the set. I think I'm personally probably biased for ceremonial red. I just like red dresses in general. Blouse and matching pants though. I'm like, sure, you know what? Let's go with ceremonial red. This looks like something one of the generals would wear back home when they held their conclaves. Fancy, formal, yet not overly conspicuous. The pretty embroidery of the dark sash seems to tell the myth of the sun mice, an ancient story about how the little man outsmarted the god of shadows. The outfit felt comforting and brought a smile to my lips. A great choice. The tailor appraises the way the item of clothing sits upon my frame. Is this the outfit to your liking? Yep, let's go with it. Just hook me up. Yeah, hook me up. I mean, can you really go wrong with black and red? No, you cannot. Totally unbiased opinion right there. It's not like I wear black and red, right? Lovely. Now please, follow me to the lockbox. I nod and exit through the heavy curtains to join the small elf at the pay desk, not expecting the looming figure that pushed past the caravan across from mine. Whoa, hello there! I find myself face to chest. I was like, I don't think we're sitting down, so maybe she's just that tall. With a being unlike any I've ever seen before, a tall cross between man and monster, with a powerful body and a rich skin tone. As I look up at him, his eyebrows jump in surprise before his lips twist into a tameless smile. Seems like I made the correct choice. It's like, hello there, handsome stranger. I was like, man, your pecs are huge. Not that I've said that out loud, but he's big, he's beefy. Excuse me. Getting you dressed. His voice was like a low purr, and I find my cheeks heating as he made a show of admiring my outfit of choice. So the first guy was kind of like Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender. This guy is definitely getting reminded of Leona from Twisted Wonderland. Because, I mean, it's, you know, Lion Man. We got the growls, the purrs in there. Can't go wrong with that. Totally agree with that choice. And especially the more like kind of native tribal look to him. You're stunning. Oh, you're already much nicer than Latimore. Sure. Oh, thank you, kind stranger. A large tail swishes back and forth behind him as he tilts his head to one side. Do you make a habit of helping others out? Unfortunately, I don't have the time for such noble work. Lately, the only people I happen to assist are my subordinates by doing the stacks of paperwork on my desk. Did you check the journal yet? No, I have not. Actually, good idea. Actually, let me actually save this game. And also, check my journal. Ah, okay. Latimore. General Latimore Shangdi. Okay, it's good. We actually have a journal here. I actually didn't realize we had a journal. Because sometimes I've been used to games that like prompt me when an entry got added to a journal. So I actually didn't realize I had a journal. I didn't look at my menu yet. But that's good to know. Shadow Master, Assassin's Lord. Oh, cool. He's got so many titles. He who brings death. The one who trades in whispers. Pain in the ass. Says one thing with his mouth and another with his eyes. Yes. Pleasant fellow, for sure. I guess this is our first entry in our journal. I love it. We haven't even... We're such a good artist. We even have a sketch of him in our notebook. That's on us for not explaining the UI design. I mean, like, it is there. Like, the fact, like, it is actually at the bottom there. So that's just also on me for not actually looking at my menu screen. They had to change the damn thing 3 times this year already. Are you a public servant of some kind? Pretty much. His bold outfit choice had made me assume he was a famed exotic dancer or performer. The thought made my mind travel in a direction that was anything but innocent, so I was almost glad when he changed the topic. Okay, we gotta reel it in, guys, reel it in. But I don't blame us though. It's like, I don't know where to look. There is a lot to look at. I don't know where to look. Now to do my job as a public servant by covering your bill. Giving me little chance to respond, the creature moved to stand in front of the tailor. What? Thank you, but that is unnecessary. I hurriedly stepped even closer to Cupio, who looked between me and the tall man, now behind me, uncertainly. Do you always fight back this hard when someone tries helping you out? I know I give him a weird look when his smile widens, showing off a pair of sharp-topped canines. No, but I mean... An amused hum leaves his lips, and I find myself wondering what it is that he gleaned from this curt line of questioning. This isn't a battle you need to fight. Your purchase is on me. Wow, okay. It's like, I don't even know who you are, yet you're paying for my clothes. Consider it a gift from the terror of the elves. I freeze in place as the tall creature crosses his arms in front of his chest, refusing to take no for an answer. His lion-like tail swishes back and forth as if taunting me to attempt to refuse his kindness. So, oh no, a handsome, buff, tall, dark man is offering to pay for my clothes. And he refuses to take no for an answer. Oh, what a pickle I'm in. Whatever shall I do? Oh, what a conundrum. This man was the Terra, the demigod leader of the City of Fides and the chosen of the Earth element. So there is a lot of world building and also like information, the lore that's like kind of coming out as we explore the place as well. I would say for the journal, it may also be helpful to have some additional journal entries of some background. Maybe that comes in later, and it could be because right now I don't know what is the City of Fides. What's the Earth element? Maybe I need to read up on some background. And he just paid for a ridiculously overpriced item of clothing for me. All right. The intensity of his gaze lessened before he nodded toward the clothing on my body. Pretty things suit pretty people. Oh man, what a smooth operator we've got here. Consider it a party favor. You're a guest of the Dread Festival, right? I nod and he gives me a brilliant grin. And please make yourself at home in our city. The words "a million people would kill for this chance" echo in my mind, and I find myself smiling back at the demigod. Oh, you're a demigod? Is that what a Terra is? Okay. So, tall, dark, handsome demigod. In a chance encounter, pays for my clothing, flashes his handsome smile at me. Truly blessed. Thank you. It is my duty, and incidentally, my pleasure. I find my cheeks heating a bit at his tone, like, oh you, stop. I bet you say that to all the girls. I should be on my way. Of course, I'll be seeing you tonight then. I pick up my old clothes and my pack before bidding Cupio and the Terra the most dignified goodbye I could muster. Now, what did the way back to the embassy look like? I start retracing my steps, but quickly find myself unable to deny the itch to put words on paper over my recent encounter. Compared to the capital of the Eris Empire, the elven city of Omnis is ridiculously expensive. Beautiful, but chaotic. The architecture I see as I walk the streets is awe-inspiring, but the structure of the city itself is incomprehensible. I wonder what the spatial architects were thinking when they planned this place. The urban design is amateurish when compared to the organized construction of our capital city. Okay there. My thoughts then wander to the Terra of the Elves, to his warm smiles and his overly accommodating sentiments. Nobody had ever covered a bill for me before purely out of kindness. I can't help but wonder what the price I'd had to pay for it in return would be. I hope he doesn't like cashes in on this kindness. I frown and structure my thoughts on the demigod of the earth. My first impression of the Terra of the Elves is that I love how the choice is, we can write something pleasant about him, or scathing remarks. I mean, he seems to live in his own world. I feel like as our job, as a kind of diplomatic political role, even if we're just like a journalist, we should at least say nice things. Especially in, you know, considering we are in the country that this guy lives in. I've never once spotted any of our 9 generals out shopping for clothes mere hours before an event as important as the Dread Festival. Then again, if the Terra is as rich as the legends say he is, I shouldn't be surprised that he throws money around at pompous stores with ridiculously inflated price tags. I feel my chest grow heavy with guilt over the words I put down. We've been taught to always show the strengths of our empire, throwing mud at the reputation of others in order to do so. However, has never been my favorite thing to do. Okay, so there's actually an explanation for it. So this is like an okay thing to be like, yes, praise the empire, and you know the other empires kind of suck. Ours is the best. I exhale and look up from my page and quill, needing a distraction from my treacherous thoughts. It's like he was so nice, we can't say bad things about him. It comes quickly as I do not recognize the street I'm walking on. Multitasking is not always as easy as it seems. The marble and quartz are lost, instead replaced by simple one-floor stone buildings, decorated with all kinds of dried plants, bones, and black velvet curtains. The streets seem deserted. The air feels oppressive. Unlike the other parts of town, soft lavender and green candles lay lit around the street, as though there is a heavy darkness here that dims all other colors and needs to be warded off. Silence stretches over me in a way that has me glancing back at my shadow. I don't know why, but this place reminds me of some of the worst moments in my life. Oh no, it's turning the wrong alleyway, wrong street. Okay, passing of my late parents, a terrible breakup with an abusive ex, a near-death experience I suffered through, the loss of a friend in the yearly wars. Okay, so we can pick one of the horrible events that may have happened with us. Let's say the loss of a friend in the yearly wars. An experience that changed me, left a void in my chest. It is difficult to express what the loss of a loved one feels like, but a wave of sadness hits me with such strength that I have to rub the tears from my eyes as I walk. I hate it. I hate the reality of a mortal. That life has a beginning and an end. How cruel is that? How cruel were the gods that made us like this? I take a deep breath and focus on the teachings of the Eris Empire, the way to fight back the demons that attempt to conquer you. I need to keep myself occupied and focused on the things at hand. I need to take everything step by step. Turn back and try to retrace your steps, or look for someone to guide you back. We might get lost if I try to retrace the steps. I will look for someone. That's hopefully nice. While the street I'm currently on is empty, there surely must be someone I can ask for directions. I'll walk around for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, taking lefts and rights, making my way through neighborhoods that look lived in yet don't spot a single person. Haven't I already been on the street? I feel as though I'm being watched. I find myself constantly glancing at the vacant windows and the empty street corners. A cold chill climbs up my back as I reach a few doors without windows or candles. Was this elven magic or all just in my head? Was someone playing tricks on me? When I stop to readjust my pack, I feel something wet hit my forehead. Oh no! It's raining! The darkening skies up above surprised me, and I had barely a moment to blink before I'm caught in the downpour. The rain is so heavy and cold that if I don't hide somewhere quick, I'm sure I'll be sick during tonight's banquet. And we just bought some nice new clothes too. Or actually someone bought some nice new clothes for us. Well shit. At this rate my notes will be ruined. I break into a run, looking for shelter from the downpour. The only place I managed to find on such a short notice is underneath a small staircase. I'm forced to squeeze in underneath, pulling my feet into my chest. I hate the rain. I like the rain. I don't care for the weather. I mean, I like the rain, but not being out in the rain, you know, like getting it rained upon. I like the rain when I'm nice and comfy indoors. Maybe with a nice cup of tea. Where I'm not actually getting rained on. I don't care for the weather. I'll say I hate the rain. I always found it depressing, preferring baking in the sunlight for hours instead. With a downpour like this, it seemed as if the sky itself was crying. For the first time in my life, I found the sky's unruliness almost unfair. By force of habit, I find myself closing my eyes and listening to the sound of raindrops as they hit the cement. I breathe in the petrichor and allow its familiar smell to calm me. Despite my feelings, I find my earlier unease evaporating, melting away with the minutes. Wolf? Dog? Pupper? I open my eyes to the sound of a bark and find a small puppy tilting its head at me. When I blink again, however, I find that I must have imagined it. No, I didn't get to see the puppy! What stands before me instead is a tall man, dressed from head to toe in black. I love so far a lot of these shots have been like low angle shots. One, I mean, they're probably taller than me anyways, and two is like, oh, hello, up there. His 4 eyes are startling green, greener than the purest jaded. Somehow he sticks out from within the gloom of the surrounding environment, perhaps because of the lit white candle that gleams at the lantern he holds up toward me. He surveys me silently, unbothered by the rain falling from the sky. His gaze lingers a beat too long on my ears. It's like, hello, sir? A sound like an exasperated scoff escapes him before he moves his cape to one side. It takes me a moment to realize he is offering to share. Come on. I am not sure how I managed to hear a voice so gentle above the downpour. Let's get you out of this rain. I should refuse. Something about, strangers and danger. Even if you are a very handsome stranger, just sharing a coat that's so intimate, so scandalous. We have to wine and dine first. However, this man and his calm, gentle presence reassured me of my safety in a way no one else ever had. Perhaps it was magic? And did it truly matter if I was expelled, if I managed to get to the banquet in time? I love how distracted we are. It's like, oh my god, this is such a beautiful man. Oh my god, what a handsome stranger. Oh wow, another handsome stranger. I mean, yeah, if we're a little late to the banquet, that's okay. We just need more time to stare at this handsome guy. With a nod, I quickly move from neath the cold staircase to under the unfamiliar man's cape. I am pleased to find that it is much warmer and larger than it looks. I assume you are an ambassador of the Eris Empire. I mean, I also noticed, because I'm like, okay, like earlier when we saw the Terra, we heard like a growl, from him, and then we heard like a scoff or sigh coming from this gentleman that we just met here. I don't know it was outlined on the Kickstarter, because I briefly looked over it, but I didn't check out to see if there was gonna be voice acting for the full game. It seems like there are some, sounds and lines here and there. So it makes me curious if it's gonna be some additional, occasional noises and scoffs or sighs and whatnot, along with additional voice lines, or if it's gonna be fully voice acted. Once again, I am surprised I can hear him. Something of the sort. His gaze lingers on me for a moment too long. Though he says nothing, he reaches his lantern forward, and I gather that we should move. The streets are accumulating water at such a pace that the sewage system does not seem capable of handling it. Oh no, not the backwater. It's backed up sewers. At first, I do my best to avoid the gathering puddles and streams of water carrying away dust and grime. So we have partial voice acting, but full voice acting is likely only going to happen if we get over the currently available stretch goals. Okay, for a Kickstarter? Yeah, okay, because yeah, I feel like that's generally the standard for a lot of like the Kickstarter or indie games. So yeah, hope if we could get to meet the stretch goals then and get some more voice acting in. Though the task is difficult and my feet should be soaked through the shoes and socks, I am surprised to find that I don't walk into the puddles. I walk over them. And as though an invisible barrier has been created between myself and the cold water accumulating on the streets. Oh my god, we suddenly developed Jesus powers. We can now walk on water. Thank you, kind stranger. I assume it's him that's doing this. Yeah, when I glance back at the man leading me, I notice the way the rain bounces away from him. Ask him how he's keeping you both dry. I want to know. The cloak's enchanted. Of course it is. Oh. Well, thank you. It's nice. I never experienced the effect of a magic item before, and I can't help but be a little awestruck at the revelation I was almost wearing one. They were pretty rare back at the Eris Empire. Okay, that makes sense. Because I'm like, oh, that'd be super handy, just not being able to get your shoes wet in the rain. Though it'd be cooler just to be like, yeah, I can suddenly just walk on water. He tilts his head toward the sky as if attempting to gauge if it will cease raining soon. Then sighs. I apologize. Once again, it takes me a moment to catch his voice. I find how easy it is to miss alarming. Once again, it takes me a moment to catch his voice. I find how easy it is to miss alarming. I actually don't quite know what this means. Are you apologizing for the rain? Do you usually apologize to all victims you save from the downpour? I think I wanted to catch his voice. Are you apologizing for the rain? Oh, okay. Yes, it appears Aqua chose the opportune time to throw a tantrum. I feel the cogs clicking away in my head. And does it rain just in Omnis or all around Quill and Guilar when he's in a bad mood? That's entirely up to him. Do all elven aspects have the ability to affect the weather? I can feel his gaze resting on me for a brief period. No. Oh. At least not without the help of spell candles. They said it! They said the word! They said the title! I raise an eyebrow at the man as he guides us into a turn that leads us out of the basic rocky building district. What are spell candles? A few seconds pass by without an answer, and I wonder if the cloak almost seems to grow heavier around me. A way to preserve pure elemental magic. And the magic is released when the candle is burned? Correct. Oh, is that why there's candles strewn about this entire city? I spot the smallest of twitches at the corner of his mouth. I mean, there are candles everywhere, and even though it's raining, they're still lit. Aren't you quite the astute student? I find myself smiling back at him. Our kind light them whenever they require magic they do not naturally possess. The red candles, to light the fires at home and to warm a room. The blue candles, to summon and control water. The effect to which anyone can use these candles depends on their magical ability, of course, but I think you get the gist of it. The curve of his lips softened his features, and for a split second I find myself staring longer than is appropriate. Oh, it's like, he has such kissable lips. Let's take a closer stare at it. Can I also use magic then? Do you have an affinity for any element or deity? No. Then you can likely only benefit from enchanted items. Flying carpets, rings that part the sea, talking swords, the stuff of legends. Oh, that all sounds cool. I mean, even if I can't use magic, sadly, I would love to have any of these items. Flying carpets, rings that part the sea seems kind of OP. No, kind of cool swords, heroic weapons, whatnot. He's teasing me. Very funny. Here we are. Hey, we're back. The male stopped suddenly and turned toward me, his tall frame towering over me as he lifted his lantern toward the entrance of the Arisian embassy. Loud percussion, the whistle of a flute, and a mandolin rang through the air, showing off that the festivities had begun. And I was late. I'm embarrassed to admit I was so focused on the intriguing man before me to notice we'd arrived. Thank you. No thank you is necessary, be assured. He motioned for me to go ahead with his free hand, so I just nodded, turned on my heel, and walked into the embassy in a hurry. At least, thanks to him, we kinda stayed dry. The music was much louder inside, accompanied by the smells of various sizzling meats and the bright light of hanging chandeliers. Water, earth, and deaf elves moved around in wide circular dances, dressed in such finery that I found myself thankful that the Terra had interfered on my behalf at the store earlier. It's him. Though I spot him in the room, I find that he's engaged in conversation with some senators from our empire, full goblet in hand. A few paces away from him, my eyes meet the infamous crimson hues of the general, who seems to have stopped wherever he was doing to size up my outfit. Okay, I didn't realize that aside from being the Shadow Master, he's also the fashion police. It's like, I have you know, my outfit is on point, okay? It's on fleek. I am slay. I'm dressed to slay. Irritation bubbles up in my throat, and I find myself quickly pivoting toward the drinks table. A large wine fountain, adorned with lit silver candles, quickly catches my eye, and a polite elf pours me a goblet upon noticing my approach. I take the cup with a smile, but am momentarily distracted from drinking. I hear a series of loud gasps, echo from somewhere before a slick, tangible voice cuts through the music like a hot knife through butter. I told the pirate lord that if he's not willing to go to war for my love, he doesn't deserve me. And then I sank his ship to the bottom of the bay. A series of excited whispers and murmurs follow the ridiculous explanation, carrying the electric atmosphere that supports all forms of gossip mongering. Momentarily distracted, I can't help but search for whoever is the source of this ambiance. Frankly, even if my sister and brother were on the marriage market, I doubt they'd be able to impress. Then again, feel free to bring it up with stepmother, dearest. I'm sure she'll be thrilled to finally get a morsel of attention. My feet move automatically, as if charmed by scandal carried within every sentence of whoever is speaking. I love how we're like drinking and then we're like, oh my god. Not in addition to this wine, we also want wherever tea is happening in the corner here. I find I am led to a section of the embassy floor, transformed into a lounge by large shades, silk curtains, and burning incense. Many gorgeous elves are piled on top of comfortable pillows, lazing around in eye-catching outfits. Yet when my eyes land on the male sprawled in the dead center of this crowd, I find myself suddenly flustered. Okay, I can see why. I mean, from the sounds of it, we're from the Eris Empire, right? So they do certainly seem more conservative, I guess. The long hair glistening in the candlelight as if wet, the bright pink makeup, the outfit that I'm sure would look unseemly on anyone else in such a formal environment. Whoever he is, he commands the space behind these curtains as though he owns it, and he might as well, considering the way the hungry gazes of his entourage follow each breath he takes. No, sweetheart, no matter how much money your father offers her family as a dowry, trust me, she won't marry you. He sounds so utterly bored with the topic that I almost believe he isn't reveling in the attention he's receiving. His large smile says otherwise. Everyone knows that marrying for love is far superior to marrying for money. His gaze landed on me and his smile widened. Oh no, we made eye contact. I do like his design overall though. It's I guess they're all elves in a sense, but he does give off, I assume he's like sea creature of some sort. I can't really tell from here if he's got like human legs or more tentacle legs, but I do like the kind of like the scales and like gills that you can see on his body. When you know you have a merman, but he's kind of more going like leaning more towards the like, I guess fish or sea creature elements, which I think it's always pretty neat. Wouldn't you agree? The pool of attention was dropped upon me so suddenly that I found myself desperate to get rid of it. Oh no, strangers staring at me. Can't people have both? I'd rather not give opinions on other people's relationships. I don't believe in marriage. Marriage for love is better. Marriage for money is better. Why can't we just have both? I'm just gonna take a conservative answer. It's like not. I'm staying in my lane. I'm in my lane. I am not. No commentary. Now I see why nobody batted an eyelash when they noticed you arriving late. Oh, thank you, sir. I will remember this backhanded comment. You're boring. Oh, and you're rude. I'm glad we feel this way towards each other. I blink, suddenly annoyed at his quick dismissal of my character. It's almost unfortunate. His heterochromic eyes slid over my form. Wait, he has heterochromia? I can't really tell from... It's like one eye lighter than the other, I guess? The retort I'd planned never leaves my mouth. You're just my type. Excuse me? Wait. Oh, okay. I'm his type, but I'm boring as hell, so he doesn't like it. Excuse me? His broad proclamation wipes the remark clean from memory, and I can only stare at him, completely dumbfounded. My cheeks flush as he spreads two fingers in front of his lips. Wow, okay there. Absolutely bold. I bet we're... You could say we're just like gaping at him like a fish, just... Feel free to stop by my room later. I don't know, sir. You might find my presence to be boring. Maybe you'll think we'll have a boring time. I highly doubt that would be appropriate. Aqua of the elves. My embarrassment is quickly swept under the rug, the attention of the room instead drawn to the general, who'd move in front of me. His demeanor remains as cold as always. Ah, the Shadow Master. The beautiful man before me finally moves to stand in front of us. I had an inkling that the male before me had to be influential, but had I just been propositioned by the aspect of water? My brain blanched as I pondered how to put that down in my journal. Dear Diary, today, some strange man that I thought was a hoe was actually the aspect of water. And he wanted to call me in for a booty call later that night. I'm still thinking about it. I've heard a lot about you. The Aqua did a quick circle around the general, eyeing him with unabashed curiosity. The man without a heart, was it? Care to dispel that rumor? Ignoring the bold flirtation of the demigod before him, the general's crimson eyes glanced in my direction briefly. I asked you to refrain from distracting our balefire-mandated political journalist from doing her job. I find myself stiffening upon hearing the mention of the Aris Empire's grand capital. Aqua's attention slid over me again, lingering on the authorized notebook I was given to put my notes down. I make no promises. Okay. You. It's a festival, General. Relax. He waves an amphibious hand dismissively. In fact, he raised his voice in a way that carried his words around the room. I propose a toast! Another goblet of wine is pushed into my hand by a servant so quickly that I suspect the Aqua of the elves has a habit of making toast. I love that. It's like, everyone get a cup! Quickly! Though the room is buzzing with excitement, it is quiet enough to hear a pin drop. Beside me, I noticed the general giving Aqua a withering glare. To the Aris Empire, who have stood behind us thousands of winters. He raised his silver goblet into the air. May our festival once again nourish the millennium-old alliance between our two nations, so that we may stand together against the coming horrors anew in 8 months. Wait, what's happening in 8 months? Pros! I blink as the word is echoed around the room, and everyone erupts in cheers before drinking from their cups. Do I drink or imitate drinking? I mean, we can have a little sippy sip, right? Hopefully it didn't actually poison the goblet. Like, I doubt we'd be poisoned at such an important event. But I mean, you never know. Whatever, we just take a sippy sip. Just a little sippy sip. I take a sip of the wine, and I'm thrown off by the dry, slightly salty taste it carries. I glance around the room to see if anyone shared my reaction, but it seems I'm alone in my confusion. What did you put in my drink? Is there a roofie in there? I don't like the fact that it's described as salty. I don't like that. The festivities around me have resumed in full force, with the swell of a lute leading most elves that were gathered around Aqua into an unfamiliar folk dance. They bounced around the room in couples, laughing and dragging the occasional senator into their steps. It's wild and lively, and antithetical to the structured festivals we hold back at Balefire. It's an acquired taste. The wine, I mean. Surf grape, they call it in Amor. Oh, a familiar voice comes from behind as I turn, I come face to face with the giant frame of the elves Terra. Long time no see, princess. It's good to see you as well, Terra. Planning to take Aqua up on his offer? It takes me a second to clue into what he's asking. It seems word travels faster than wine at the Elven capital. I mean, he's literally right here in the room, and Aqua did not exactly like whisper that proposition. I will be doing my job. Thought so. A part of me wanted to ask him what he meant, considering that smile, but I find my attention occupied by Aqua. He led a complex folk dance with easy confidence, his long hair swaying behind him, a mesmerizing head of the revelry. Our stoic general followed through the motions beside him, as though he'd done this many times before. He looks like he had more fun cleaning bird shit. I stifle a laugh behind a hand and glance up at the shrugging demigod. Am I wrong though? He's not wrong, to be honest. I want to defend the general cause, you know, we're kind of from the same place, in the same convoy sort of thing, but yeah, I don't think he's actually having fun. I can't help the smile that cracks my well-structured mask of professionalism. I don't have to do anything more to earn myself a pleased expression from the elven demigod. His gaze shifts behind me as I follow it to a lone figure leaning against a wall beside the embassy's entrance. Oh, it's the guy. Oh, he's got like fox ears, something very cute. My guide from earlier. With his hood down, I'm startled to see a pair of long lupine ears shifting on top of his head. Okay, so like more maybe wolf type. Mors Mortis, the aspect of death, the last demigod of the waking elves. He's watching the dance unfolding around the embassy floor, but seems to be restraining himself from joining it. Terra nudges me with his elbow. You could invite him to a dance, you know. I'm startled by the suggestion. You know the steps, don't you? I nod slowly. I wouldn't be allowed on this job if I didn't. Well, what are you waiting for? I blink at Terra's words, suddenly feeling encouraged to try something new. I love that. It's like, yo. He's like trying to... he's kind of, I wouldn't say like being a wingman, but like supportive person. Be like, come on, go ask that guy for a dance. You're like, I don't know, maybe. Actually, you know, maybe that's not a bad idea. Oh, we could pick who we want. Okay, let me save. Resume. I mean, pick the general, pick Mors Mortis, pick Terra. I could just pick, I mean, I could also pick Terra, but yeah, sure. I'm curious. Let's just pick Terra. Would you care to dance with me then? I blurt the invitation out. So the male beside me seems surprised at first. His expression melts into a masculine smile that turns his eyes into molten gold. Happily. With a swift motion, he pulls me onto the floor, joining one of the lines of dancers with ease. His large fingers lace with mine as the music shifts into a more folkloric tune with the same motifs. A cello replaces the flute as the leading instrument. Percussion begins pounding through the air, stirring the adrenaline in my body. I do like the background track that's like playing right now. It's got the doing the instrumentals. It does give off like I want to say like I don't know if exotic is the correct term to use, but it does give off exotic vibes to it. It's I don't fully recognize the type of instruments being played in the track, but I think it's it works. My hips sway in the rhythm of the complex steps of the elven traditional dance as I straighten my back. Despite his large frame, Terra's swings and spins are done with ease, and I find myself able to follow and enjoy myself, his smile rousing a rare, genuine grin of my own. Impressive. He gives my hand a gentle squeeze. Seemingly having realized that one of the demigods has joined the back of their winding dance line, the other elves swiftly shuffle down the formation to allow Terra to lead. If he noticed this fact, he doesn't comment on it. His eyes remain glued to me as he guides us around the center of the room, contesting Aqua and the general for the public eye. Enjoying yourself? Take the heart of the room. I mean, yeah, I am. We're enjoying ourselves. You've been very nice to us. So far, you and Moors. The other two were not quite as nice to me. It might be the drink from earlier, but I could have sworn Terra's eyes glittered and lingered on my lips for a second. Alright, hold on. Turning away from me, the demigod pulls our row right in front of Aqua's dance line. He dips underneath the intertwined hands of two short elves, forcing our way with a confident step that makes me laugh as I follow him down and then back up into the center of the hall. The music swells as we wind into a small circle, stepping in perfect beat with the pounding drum, until the line twists so much that it becomes a maze of bodies weaving around one another. Oh, until the music stops, and I'm not next to Terra, but facing him. Close enough that I can feel the heat radiating off his body. I mean, like... he looks like a guy that radiates heat. He looks like he'd be a human furnace. Or a creature furnace, if you call. You know, he's just hot in more ways than one. Our breaths are almost as intertwined as our hands. We're getting real close. I can feel his tail brush against my leg. Scandalous. As I search for something to say, the room erupts in cheers and jolly laughter and erupts into another dance. But I'm too tired to join in. Or perhaps too disturbed to acknowledge the way my heart is beating. As if sensing my discomfort, Terra pulls me out of the center of attention. Need a drink? Yes please. Hope it's not poison. He nods and heads to the bar, leaving me alone to catch my breath, sort through my emotions. None of the region generals would dine with their subordinates, and I just dance with a demigod. I can hear my heart beating in my ears, and for once, it's not from fear. He's just feeling the heart-pounding moment. All the dokies from being up close with a handsome lion man. For the first time in years, I begin thinking that my work is going to be genuine praise rather than propaganda. As I glance around the festivities of the room, I notice that Mors Mortis is quietly conversing with the general, who has a grave expression on his face. Aqua is nowhere to be found. I also notice the way I'm being constantly pinned with curious glances, perhaps due to my earlier dance performance. Here. I blink as Terra appear. Okay, so I think I blink as Terra appeared beside me again, a goblet of wine in each hand. Thank you. I accept the drink and take a sip, unable to school my expression into something resembling neutrality at its salty punch. This is terrible. This wine sucks. Terra chuckled beside me. It's an acquired taste. Yeah, it might take me a few centuries. Don't let Aqua hear you. Might accuse you of great political offense. I find my body seizing up at the thought. The sounds around me grow to dull suds, my heart beating in my chest, ringing in my ears. Oh no, is it the wine? Prison! I could go to prison! I could get killed for laying loose. For this opinion, I dared share it out loud. I can feel the general's eyes on me, and I have to remind myself to breathe. Hey, I was joking. I find that Terra has moved in front of me, blocking me from the view of the rest of the room. Concern is lacing his features. Well, you seem very nice so far towards us. Can you hear me? I manage to nod and he sighs. Look at me. The soft growl in his voice makes me do just that. You're going to be alright. I hadn't realized how close he gotten. The way his tattoos glitter in the candlelight. How he smells of agarwood, earth, and birch. Ooh, very down-to-earth, earthy tones. The details stir me, knock me out of my fear, and incite an entirely different thrill. I love that. It's just like, don't worry, you know, you're not going to jail, everything's okay, it's all calm. And meanwhile, we're like, ooh, he smells so good. He smells nice. I find myself nodding with more conviction this time, mostly to clear my head, but earn myself a small smile either way. Your name? Excuse me? It takes a moment to realize that I never properly introduced myself. It's Koa Miyo. Ah, Koa Miyo, the political journalist and dancer extraordinaire. It seems they've forgotten that first part. The general cuts into the conversation with a glare in my direction that gives me goosebumps. General, you've been like trying to like cock block me all night. First you're like coming in between me and Aqua, and now you're coming between me and Terra. Yeah, I know, whole workplace professionalism, doing my job sort of thing, but it does from the way he's standing with his arms crossed, it does make it seem like I'm just not paying attention to him, and now he's trying to like cock block me from others. Any journalist serious about their job would already be resting, preparing for tomorrow's festival opening. Though the smile on Terra's lips remain in place, I can sense it is no longer genuine. Then the fault is mine, General. I requested to join me. And I wasn't aware there was a curfew. There isn't, but I decide to hold my tongue behind my teeth before I get on the General's bad side. He looks to be searching for words. Help him out or stay silent? Yeah, do I want to help him out? I mean, he's got a point, but still. Oops. Resume. Yeah, sure, let's help him out. I want... Let's throw him a bone. Well, I am getting rather tired. It has been a long day, and all that traveling is finally getting to me. I fake a small yawn. I offer both men a small smile and a bow. If you'll excuse me. The General gives me a curt, dismissive nod, but Terra just stares at me quietly. An unfamiliar look crosses his features before he gives me a bright smile, as fake as my own. Cool. Heading up the stairs into the embassy's living quarters. I'm guided to my quarters by a young girl with warm mannerisms and deposited in front of the door to a room I won't be sharing with anyone else. Oh nice, we get a space all to ourselves. It's a nice little room here. I quickly reach my room. The inside is small but luxuriously furnished, showing off what I already knew, that the Heiress Empire spared no expense for his diplomats. I find myself glaring at the unnecessary mahogany desk, the silk robe hanging from my dresses, and the comfortable bed warmed by the red candle lit beside it. The redundant opulence of the ensuite bathroom with the heated floors and scented soaps. Wow, comes with heated flooring. That is VIP. I sigh as I sink into my bed, journal in hand. Pushing my annoyance aside, my thoughts drift, taking me through the day. So far, I find Omnis to be charming, grandiose, mysterious. I mean, it is grandiose, let's say. Before I know it, I'm describing the giant marble pillars and colorful quartz rooftops of the city's buildings. The perfectly coiffed shrubbery, The strong scent of roses, the gorgeous crawling plants that must have taken decades to reach the heights they currently hold. I smile as I recall the soft hanging silk curtains, bathed in the golden light of dusk. Next, I find myself focusing on the welcome festivities I'd just been a part of. Ridiculously chaotic, exciting, quite the special experience. I mean, okay, keep it kind of tame, you know. Kind of a tame description of it. I'll say they're quite the special experience. The winters our eastern continent experiences are mere myths to the rest of the known world. They are harsh, filled with horrors of mind and body. We lose too many good people to these wars every year. And yet, within the Eurasian Embassy of Omnis, the evening before the Dread Festival, we are welcomed with open arms by our elven comrades in arms. We find hope in breaking bread and sharing wine. We smile, laugh, and choose to live on. Persist despite the abominations in our recent memory. Abominations in our recent memory. It was a heartwarming sight of an alliance forged over millennia of joint suffering. I find myself smiling when I think of... Are we gonna write this in our journal entry? Imagine like writing an article and send back home. I mean, might as well keep with Terra, because we so far had positive experience with him. Hopefully he does not turn out to be a bad person later on, considering he's been fairly nice. The fearless, imposing demigod of the earth element and exploiter of all its treasures. Zealous leader of Fides, the elven city of fate. Ruthless warrior, aspect, natura. He wasn't anything like what I expected. Generous, kind, obliging. A man who showed off his propensity to lead with a simple dance and a soft squeeze of a hand. A stark contrast to the phony diplomats and ruthless generals from Ares. Yeah, I'm a girl, you don't want to write that. I shook my head at the thought, deciding that it is better left unwritten. We're gonna write that in our own diary, not for an article for back home. Considering apparently the propaganda we usually write. Then, after a moment, I scratched through the entire section I've written about Terra, paranoid that someone with basic political knowledge could read between the lines of my work. Perhaps the weeks of travel were finally getting to me. I put away my journal and tried to get some rest. To survive in the Ares Empire, you need to love it. Or you need to be very good at pretending to do so. Oh, now it's like, I guess, the next day. The delegation was ready to depart to the Central Plaza at 7:30 AM, sharp. Systemized like apothecary bottles, not a single soul dared to be late under the general scrutiny. As if yesterday's chaotic revelry was a dream we'd all conjure up in our sleep. But the outfit on my body was proof enough, considering I had nothing else decent to wear, and... I'm like, did we only bring like one set of clothing? Like, we spilled ink on our pants and that was it. We just had nothing else to wear except for the outfit that we wore to the party yesterday. The elven diplomats meant to escort us to the location of the Dread Festival's opening ceremony arrived at exactly 7:35. The Shadow Master greeted them, and after finishing the steaming contents of his cup, bid they lead the way. I soon find myself uncertain as to why all of this posturing was necessary. The Central Plaza of Omnis is exactly a 3-minute walk away from the embassy. I do like these statues here. I'm like, that's pretty sick. It's like, yeah, you know, sure, we got like Statue of Liberty with, you know, that's one arm in the air, but forget about the Statue of Liberty. Why have a Statue of Liberty when you can have literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 statues of robed figures pointing up towards the sky? I mean, That's pretty cool. It's like we should try doing that in our in our era. Though we were early to the ceremony, the open space is packed with elves of various elemental inclinations and ages. 7 large stone coffins held together with heavy locks and star mail chains lay arranged in a neat line in the heart of the square. A giant cauldron of bubbling wax levitates peacefully above each one, and I quickly spot the 7 lit silver candles held together by mors mortis. So Terra and Aqua are nowhere to be found. The aspect of death seems to personally be attending to the festival's preparation. He appears calm as he runs his fingers over the flames of the braziers heating the cauldrons, earning excited whispers from the gathered elves and senators. I find myself wondering if it hurts or if he's touched fire so many times he's grown numb to it. I mean, like, he's kind of human but not human. Like, he's humanoid shape, but then he also has 4 eyes, and his hands, like the fingertips of his hands, are black. So it begs the question exactly on how human he actually is in terms of his senses. Because my question is, I'm like, Morris has 4 eyes. I'm like, is he able to see out of all 4 eyes? Does he, like, do they move like human eyes? What is the anatomy? For a second, his eyes meet mine across the field as our delegation steps forward to our designated area. Let's smile at him. Surprise skips over his features like a pebble before sinking underneath the perfectly constructed political smile he'd offer a delegation. Or so I expected. Instead, his expression remains the same as he offers us a cool, calculated bow. Welcome, esteemed General and delegates of the Eris Empire, to this year's Dread Festival opening. Thank you, Aspect of Death, for hosting us again this year. The Shadow Master returns the sentiment with a curt bow of his own. What a lukewarm exchange. You know, it's just like, yes, exchanging political pleasantries. This is like, I'm not certain exactly what has happened between these two, but I do not have any time to dwell on it, for Aqua and Terra's arrival breaks the tension and turns it into chaos. It is as if wherever those two appear, the location turns into a stage set for a spectacle. I mean, literally, I find it funny too that like 3 out of 4 guys here have like kind of like open shirt concepts. Like Morta's got this like deep V, though I do like the little fangs or teeth that are coming out from the outfit. It's kind of cool that way. He's got a deep V going on. Terra is just fully like shirtless, and Aqua's got like thigh slits, so it's like, oh yes, truly a spectacle, a feast for the eyes. A stark contrast to the elves' indifference towards Mors Mortis and quiet curiosity about the general. I find my gaze lingering on. I mean, we'll just keep going with Terra. So I'm not like, so I'm not too wishy-washy. I am wishy-washy. I like to be like, oh, I want to do this, or I want to make a choice for this guy, but we'll just focus. For now, anyways. Focus on Terra. I just realized, yeah, I guess Lattimore has like exposed stummy, so everyone is actually revealing in their own way. Like Aqua's like almost completely shirtless here. He's got like literally some fishnets going on the side. Terra's all completely shirtless. We got DV cuts here, and then we have like midriff. Amazing. The aspect of Earth towers over the Aqua, staying slightly behind him as his gaze sweeps through the crowd. His hair is it's a wilder mess than yesterday, and his powerful frame seems to be set with fatigue. Or am I imagining it? He takes control of the public square simply by opening his mouth. Esteemed guests of the Empire, allow us to once again welcome you to our lands as we commemorate the end of another winter. Terra moves to stand beside now quiet Mortis. There is no greater honor for us and our people to call you and yours by the term allies. For every time we've called, you have answered, and whenever you've been in need, we've delivered. It is through good that we stave off evil, through your gods and ours. Listening to the eloquence of the aspect of Earth, I am quickly reminded that as the leader of the Elven City of Faith, Terra also holds the title of head of all elfic religions. Wow, okay, everyone's a big shot. Everyone's got several titles. Got big shot boys here. Aqua speaks next, a hand on his heart. Our bond has lasted for millennia, a marriage against darkness. This commitment, immortalized when we sealed away the 7 Scions, will continue to hold again today. On this first dawn of the Dread Festival, we vow to once again keep them at bay. His voice pulls me toward him, like a sailor to a siren, but it is Morris's tone that brings me back. That makes me stop and listen. From flesh to wax, from wax to life. Every year, the eternal war takes from us those who hold dear. And with what is left of them, we seal away chaos, anger, harm, loneliness, sorrow, hunger, and plague, and take a breath until next winter. For it is through faith that we hold the lines, through love that we stand united, and through hope that we keep fighting. Let those we love shield us once more from the dangers we've forgotten. Breathe in and take your time to pray. Terra's command echoes through the air, rendering the thousands of elves gathered on their knees. As per the ritual, our delegation is the first to walk up to the braziers of bubbling wax and silently thank those who gave their lives for us. The general goes first, murmuring thank yous in both our language and that of the elves. Though I can't see his face, I find his tone to be gentler than any I'd heard from him before. I go last from our delegation. I think about those I've lost over the years as well. I murmur thank yous in both languages. As I reach the first cauldron, I thank the people and elves who gave their lives for a peace in both languages. Then I move on to the next cauldron and do the same, and the next, and the next, and the next. It is considered a great honor to be able to come this far, or come this close to the dead again. Once our delegation has finished paying our respects, the elven aspects follow. The 3 move in perfect tandem, and by the time Mortis has finished, the rest of the elven population in Omnis is already in silent tears. Poor. Mortis orders after a moment of silence. The 7 cauldrons obey Mortis's command, slowly moving to tip over. Wax begins hitting the coffins one by one, sealing them under the watchful eyes of the elven aspects, their people, and our delegation. Get down! The words shattered through the silence. I barely have time to process the familiar voice before the ground underneath my feet gives. For a second, I think I'm blind. The world has turned pitch black. I think I smell something burning. Then daylight breaks through, bringing my sense of sight. My knees are bleeding. Oh damn! Was there like some sort of explosion? Maybe that was happening. I blink as I try to get my bearings, but it's as though sound has ceased to function. I make out that some of the senators lay beside me, cowering. I think I should stay low for now until I figure out what's going on. The general is kneeling beside me, a knife in his hand. His eyes wander around our delegation, coolly checking for everyone's presence and safety. At least until a shout cuts apart my uncertainty with a new, horrifying discovery. The goddess of chaos has escaped! My eyes shoot in the direction of the pale marble coffin, the last one to be sealed, now empty. I hear murmurs and whispers from the gathered elven crowds. The words are undecipherable until the general's crimson gaze sweeps towards the onlookers with what can only be described as wild fury. They finally decide to conquer us too. Betrayers! Scoundrels! My blood chills as I realize that the only possible culprits could be those close enough to the cauldrons. The realization seems to dawn upon the aspects at the same time, because all three of them turn to face us. The words "seize them" suddenly sound like a phrase from a banned horror novel. The elven crowds are dispersed and told to return to their homes under curfew. Meanwhile, we are roughly pulled into a standing position in front of the aspects. Uh-oh. I'm still trying to figure out how Aqua's legs work. I haven't seen the full body sprite of him. While Terra and Aqua's expressions are unreadable, Mortis looks dangerously calm. General, give us one reason why we mustn't lynch your delegation and send you back to the Emperor to announce the dissolution of our alliance. You have no proof. I find this man's ability to remain an egotistical bastard, even when standing before three demigods, almost attractive? Almost? You know, sometimes it's like the you know, when you have like the absolute jerk asshole that you meet at first, but he slowly kind of warms up to you later on, or at least, you know, he does pull some cool moves here and there that make him, you know, feel like, give you like a ooh, he's kind of hot in that way. Did nobody else stand close enough to braziers in order to tamper with them? The general falls silent, and I realize exactly what he's saying. I see Morris's expression turn murderous as he reaches the same conclusion. My thoughts suddenly dim as primal existential fear of death sinks its claws into my back. How dare! Let's hold an investigation then. Aqua smiles nonchalant, but something in his tone gives me pause. Morris's eyes narrow on the demigod of water. Everyone present is a suspect. I don't know why the three unitary demigods suddenly look so divided. Terra, much to my surprise, is frowning, his tail flickering around, his arms crossed in front of his chest. Very well. Morris's four jade eyes wander between the members of our delegation and the surrounding guards before landing on the general. Name your investigator, Shadow Master. You get one and only one. Well, we're voluntold for the job. What? I jump to my feet as all eyes turn to me. I don't know if you want me to do this job. I mean, I guess I have to, but I can't. Despite my protest, none of the aspects argue the choice. Aqua's smile widens and I find myself looking away, needing to escape all this attention. The festival lasts 7 days. This is how long you have to get your truth. The unspoken "if you fail" remains a silent implication that hangs over my head like a guillotine for the next week. Cool, so I don't figure it out. That, I guess that means we go to war? Presumably? I return to my room and find that my fingers are gripping my journal so hard that they're shaking. I have to get together, desperately. I could sense how overwhelmed I am with fear. Had it been winter, I likely would have already turned into some mindless ghoul and fallen prey to the sword of a soldier. I take in a deep breath, then exhale. I repeat these simple motions several times until my brain has enough oxygen to function again as it should. Who did I investigate? Well, we go with good old reliable. We just keep on making all of the Terra choices. Terra, let's go take a look. Talk to you. I mean, so far I've been going with Terra. But because, you know, I just want to be consistent in this case. But I'm curious if anyone is in a chat here if you guys have a favorite so far in terms of who you'd go for. First, you know. I mean, I've just picked Terra because I'm like, oh, he's actually nice to me. So I guess he just ended up being the first choice. I am a political journalist, not a detective. I should be reporting on the strong relationship between Eris Empire and Kul and Gulal. I should be watching the general gallivanting alongside the aspects, drinking wine, smiling politely, and just writing. Instead, I find myself spearheading an investigation that could not only spark a war between two nations, but also result in the end of my life. I can feel the nerves in my stomach like worms, eating me from the inside out. I should have skipped breakfast, and at this rate, I might skip dinner. You're right, you look like you want to murder your journal. Which I do not recommend, by the way. It looks like a nice journal. Oh. Well, hello there. Did I invite you here? I find myself torn from my thoughts by a voice I'm quickly growing acquainted with. Its owner leans against the open doorway, strong arms crossed in front of his chest. I knocked several times, but you didn't respond, so I let myself in. It took me a moment to realize he was waiting for me to respond to his earlier inquiry. Yeah, sure, I'm fine. He hums, his eyes studying me briefly. His gaze was piercing, as though he could see through every little lie. Please, feel free to take a seat. I motioned to the chair in front of my desk and watched Terra's gaze flicker briefly to it before moving back to me with a raised eyebrow. I don't mean to be disrespectful to your embassy's choice of furniture in saying this, but if I were to put my full weight onto that seat, I fear it won't hold another person ever again. I'm sorry, Terra, you're just too dummy thick for our empire's furniture. I'm sorry we cannot accommodate. And while I have no issues paying for those damages, I think I'd rather spare your ambassadors the embarrassment. A giggle escapes me as I process his words. Imagining the present ambassadors rushing over to apologize to the elves Terra for their inadequate seating arrangements sounded like something of a local comedy skit. Alright then. On to the topic at hand. Do you notice anything unusual? No, I was preoccupied. Any particular reason? He chuckles and the sound inexplicably takes a load off my shoulders. Some demigod enchantment, perhaps? I was releasing some pent-up energy. Through exercise? With Aqua. Like, you mean exercise? It takes great effort for me to keep my pen moving against the paper, but the writing turns into an unintelligible scrawl as his words sink in. Wait... His expression is proof enough that he isn't teasing me. His lips are set into a firm line, his muscular arms crossed in front of his chest. Wait, okay, you were exercising with Aqua. What kind of exercise are we talking about here? Aqua doesn't quite seem like the sparring type. After a few moments, And how long were you together for the evening? Oh, going at it until morning. Okay. Could you give me the exact hours? I need to know every single detail. Trust me, it's for the investigation. His tail twitches from behind him, his eyes flicking away from me as he attempts to recall the information I need. I made sure to stay at the embassy as long as it was polite. Which was... Your general vanished around 3 a.m. I followed his lead. I nod my head, a frown on my lips at the mention of my strict superior. Aqua left with you? He nods, and I unwittingly find myself following the movement of his short braids over his chest. And you were with Aqua until you arrived at the scene of the crime. Tara cocks an amused eyebrow at my choice of terminology. For the most part, investigator. I gave him a look that demands further clarification. We separated for a shower and a change of clothes at around 6 a.m. Damn, guys. I guess no one was getting any sleep that night. I put that down word for word and move on with my other queries. I mean, why were you late? Some elven business came up. Right before the beginning of the festival? When you live as long as I do, investigator, you come to realize that there's two kinds of business. There's a business you can put off and a business you can't. Usually if you don't handle the first, it becomes the second. I try not to make that mistake. That's very organized of you. I find myself smiling at his explanation. The compliment comes out accidentally and earns me a bright grin. Thank you. His tone softens slightly, a low, warm rumble compared to his usual demanding voice. I almost find it difficult to focus on the work at hand. Are you using some kind of spell? Does the Dread Festival use the same agenda every year? Terra nods, shifting his weight from one Leon line leg to another. Has been for as long as I can remember. Which is? A bit longer than a century. Man, how old is this guy? 120 years, give or take. It kind of all blends together when you live this long. Absolutely nothing has changed for 120 years? Nothing significant that I can recall. Mortis is the oldest of us. He should be able to give you a more informed answer. I'll make sure to ask him. Terra gives me a small smile. Who do you think is responsible for the incident? The Terra's eyes narrow at my question, his lips pursing into a scowl. Whoever they are, they couldn't have escaped far. I've put Omnis into lockdown. No one can enter or leave. That wasn't my question. His eyes like molten gold slid to me, and for a split second, I could imagine what it was like to be this man's enemy. To stand against a man who could move a mountain, literally. To someone or something that wishes to weaken us, to drive fear into the hearts of our people. And when I find them, I would tear them to pieces with my bare hands and let them rot on the altar of celebration until the crows have picked the meat clean from the remains and the bearers have dissolved the bone with their shit. Wow, okay. But I see we feel very strongly about this, clearly. It takes a moment to close my mouth and remember to write this down. We're like, oh, okay. Yeah, alright, let's put that down. Silence stretches out between us. What could anyone hope? I don't know what this means. Can a lockdown hold a child of evil? I have no clue what a child of evil is. What can anyone hope to gain from ruining the opening ritual? Attempting to sow the seeds of panic and fear in our people is futile. Most of them have lived too long, are too emboldened by their love, faith, or hope to truly let one minor attempt on their lives shake centuries of mental and emotional training. So you believe the goal of the events is purely to free the goddess? That, or to shake Mortis' position in our society? I pause, having completely missed this angle. Why would anyone attempt to damage the reputation of your demigod of death? Everyone tends to fear what they cannot understand and hates what they cannot control. Mors Mortis has saved many lives, turned his district of death and afterlife into a sanctuary for survivors of the Eternal War. And this is a problem? I feel a semblance of horror crawl up my spine at the implied alternative. Some would call it a weakness. Would you? I call it hope. And I find it necessary. His undaunted response warms me, smothering the chill of horror with assurance. A knock sounds on the door, breaking us away from our session. The Terra's eyes move from the door to me, his lips pursed as he steps away from it. For a man so famous for his control, I assume he sure had no problem giving it away. I half expected him to answer before I blinked. Come in. The door creaks open and I find myself looking at a handsome, lithe, silver-haired elf who offers the Terra a low bow. Allura, you are needed in the square to help set up the fire dancing festival, Natura. Of course, I will be right there. Though I'm annoyed by the interruption, I nod my head when Terra's gaze returns to me. I will see you at fire dancing then, investigator. Do you have appropriate clothes for the event? I find myself caught off guard by the question. I'll have some sent to your room before tonight then. Are you always buying strangers whole new wardrobes? I mean, I can't complain. I'm sure the dress I wore was super nice, and now he's gonna be buying more clothes. I love that it almost feels like the rich CEO trope of just like, I'm just gonna buy the whole store for you, might as well. Maybe not to that extent, but you know, it's still being spoiled by getting new clothing from him. Usually, only those that ask nicely. His grin stirs in me something fierce. Natura! I'm coming, Allura. He's out of the door before I can poke at his words, leaving my brain scrambled with information and my stomach with warmth. Who did I investigate? Okay, so we kind of do like a little... So we're like interrogating each one of them first, basically. I guess Aqua, sure. Since their alibis should technically align with each other. I wasn't sure if it was because Mors Mortis had called everyone present a suspect, but I found myself diligently studying Aqua as he sat on a chair in front of my work desk. A very ornate chair that hadn't been there until right before I asked for the aspect of water to stop by for questioning. It was carved of some expensive wood, packed with comfortable cushions, and sparkled with pearls of varying colors and sizes. So he just likes his fancy furniture, I get it. A perfect seat for the man who lounged on top of it as if he were king of the world. Legs crossed, chin propped up on one hand, he offered me a lazy smile that made something in my chest twist. He was perhaps the most beautiful man I'd ever seen. I thought we said that for like the cat, for like, you know, the Shadow Master. But I guess like he's not the only beautiful man. We also have this other beautiful man that's would say the same thing for. It was annoying to no end. Should I summon a painter? He seemed so fond of staring. My cheeks flushed and I cleared my throat. Glancing down my journal, I found it logical. Start off by asking him the following questions. Oh yeah, do you notice anything unusual? Not really, I was too busy sleeping off a hangover after a long night of enjoying the revelry I helped your embassy throw. His voice dipped into a softer, more melodic tone. It truly was a shame that you couldn't stay. How long did you stay? I don't know, I was too busy having fun to check the clock. I had the urge to roll my eyes. At least until 1 AM, I think. He stifled a yawn into the palm of his clawed hand. That was a start. I mean, it seems like people just left around 1. So where were you? In the morning. Oh. I am late only if you go by the words of Mors Mortis. If anyone else had organized the Dread Festival this year, they wouldn't have said a word. Others can organize the festival? Of course, it is a rotating duty between all aspects. It just so happens that this year the pleasure fell on Mors Mortis' shoulders. Was anything different? You can answer my previous question. At the gathering, I found rather pleasant company that detained me until morning. Oh. Can that company corroborate your story? Of course. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Who do you think is responsible? We already know who the other person was. If I was thrown at the deep end, I wouldn't go about attracting the attention of the sharks. Are you threatening me? He laughed as though to ask something terribly amusing. His different colored eyes glittered like sea glass. Your regions are always looking for a reason for an argument or a fight. Do you know a lot of our regions? A few. And that's enough to draw up such conclusions. Perhaps. I do my best not to roll my eyes. Like, God, he's so annoying. Alright, let me rephrase. Who might benefit from freeing a dangerous goddess? Excluding our enemies? I grit my teeth. Okay, who are the enemies, you know? I haven't sensed any dangerous emotions from anyone, if that's what you're asking me. I don't know what to put down. I'm sorry, you can sense emotions? My fellow Naturas call it empathy. Partially comes with the territory of holding the elven throne in the city of Amor. So you get powers from ruling a city in return for what? Spreading peace, harmony, and love, of course. Maybe you'd let me help you explore that too at some point. Clearly, you need it more than anyone else around the festival. I roll my eyes as my cheeks flush at his blatant proposition. Yo, he just still hasn't given up on that yet. That was all very helpful. Thank you. Did you find... I appreciate the attempt at lengthening our time together, investigator. I'm a busy man. I find myself gaping at him. I wasn't... The grin he gives me as he makes to get up is downright infuriating. I should have a free time slot for you after 5 hours if you wish to continue your disquisition. You can't just... But he can, and he proves that point by making his way out the door to my small room before I can finish my sentence. And I have the infuriating need to throw my journal at the door. As I'm looking down my notes from the first 2 sessions, churning the new information in my brain, the door to my room swings open with such violence that I reach for the dagger underneath my desk. For a second, the shadows grow deeper and darker, and I wonder if they moved on their own before the general marches into my room unannounced. Of course, everyone just kind of barges into my room. Haven't you guys all heard of knocking? With 4 quick strides of his long legs, he reaches my desk, his tall form blocking out the rays of the sun from the nearby window like a storm cloud. It's like, here comes a party pooper. A thick stack of papers is deposited unceremoniously onto my desk, and it takes everything within me not to wince as I notice the smudges of various shades of red and brown along with the inky scrawl upon them. I put the dagger back in its desk sheath and make up to get up and bow, but he raises a hand to stop me. I will not stay. I have taken up the task of personally questioning everyone from my delegation who prayed in front of the wax this morning. I feel the blood drain from my face as my eyes flip between him and a stack of papers before me. I clear my throat to help find my voice. And did you find anything of note? His eyes narrowed with unfiltered annoyance. No. Cool, all those papers and nothing to show for it. I'm still gonna question him though. Shadow Master, with all due respect, I would also like to ask you a few questions. My breathing halts the moment his footsteps do. I remind myself to count to 10 to move. to show signs of life as he levels me with one of his famous glares and the shadows in the room darken. Consider these 10 minutes of my time charity for a lost cause. I'm like, you're the one who picked me to do the investigation, and yet you're not cooperating with me. My breathing resumes with a huff, and I'm quickly reminded of my dislike for the disrespect of the ruling generals of Eris. Annoyance washes over my fear, steadying me as I flop open a new page on my journal. What do you think was the aim? This winter bore the greatest losses ever seen by this long-enduring alliance. Some blame the elven leadership for the grave numbers. Others might blame us. You think someone is trying to stage a power coup? The Shadow Master shrugs, and the action is human enough that I find myself staring. Wherever they are, only the gods can save them now, and they better pray long and hard because their chances of survival after that sorry stunt is 0. His eyes glitter like sharp rubies, and I recognize those words to not a belief, but a promise. Alright, anything set up differently? The elves knew Aqua through the welcoming party yesterday. He reeks of trouble. I raised my eyebrows at the observation. Perhaps the Shadow Master used salty wine and trouble interchangeably. I wouldn't be surprised, considering to stick up his ass. Could you elaborate? He's cocky and impulsive, an attention seeker with 0 regard for the consequences of his actions. Could it be that he's still bothered by the way Aqua flirted with him in front of everyone? It's just personal now. Just taking it out on him. I pushed the thought down, ignoring the urge to smirk. The current Aqua has been present and active for the previous 2 Dread Festivals as well, but no incidents occurred then. I point out, my tone professional, controlled, earning me a scowl from the man before me. The Shadow Master opens his mouth, then seems to think better of what he wants to say, and closes it, glancing pointedly at the clock on my desk instead. I do my best to ignore the way this annoys me. I love how everything he does just annoys us. We're like, God, we're so tired of putting up with him. It's like, what is he doing? Alright, who's responsible, you think? The seals placed upon the children of evil are ancient complicated magic. I still don't know what the children of evil are. This rules all mortal simpletons from our delegation out of the list of culprits at the very least. I pursed my lips, ignoring to stab this asshole. Just lightheartedly made my intelligence as he keeps talking. Whether it's a conscious betrayal or a hand guided by the anger of a god. Those who know how to unseal a tomb bound by a millennium old spell could likely be counted on the fingers of one hand. My hand freezes midair. The unspoken words linger between us for a few moments before I finally press my quill to the pages of the journal again, seemingly snapping the general from his continued unspoken thoughts. His gaze flicks to me and then to the space around me before he crosses his arms over his chest. His lips set into a firm line, if you know what I'll ask him. You intend to question the gods? The Terra and his high priests and priestesses can communicate with the original gods in bits and pieces. They know their intentions, their views, see the shifts of the divine web before any mortal can. You think the Terra knew this? Oh, you think the Terra knew this could happen? He scoffs, one foot tapping impatiently against the wind floor. If he's as powerful as he says he is, then he should be aware of most fates woven by the fingers of the gods. Cool, that's only more thicker and convoluted. I have to admit it, but the general has given me a lot to think about in the last minutes. My brain is running at 1,000,000 miles per hour as I flip between the pages of information, picking through the bits and pieces I find important. Whatever question I want to ask next, however, doesn't see the page as I hear his boots begin moving toward the door. I think we should at least thank him. He's kind of an asshole, and he's not nice to us at all. We can at least spare some decent manners for him. Oh, hi Sophie! Welcome to the stream. We've been playing through Spell Candle for a bit. We're kind of at the, we're questioning a list of suspects now. Because of, an event that occurred at an event at the... I I actually still can't even describe what happened properly. It was an event of the festival, and then something happened, and one of the tombs got unsealed, and now we gotta figure out who did it. I glance up from my paper and he pulls the door open. Thank you for your time, General. His gaze flickers in my direction briefly as he pauses in the entryway. Do make an effort not to get yourself killed, investigator. Not everyone loves obnoxious buttons meddling around their business. Yeah, and we also don't like people with sticks up their ass, but we can't win either way, you know? He steps out and shuts the door behind him, leaving me staring indignantly at the space he just left. My earlier bout of fear completely forgotten, now replaced with a warm, boiling rage slithering underneath my chest. It's so funny. Every time this guy opens his mouth, we just like feel unbridled rage. We're just like clenching our fists, be like, this jerk, this asshole. If I wasn't in an embassy building, I would scream. What a fucking ass. That seems to be reoccurring with this guy. Sila, Pirate, and Lovak give me strength to not beat the shit out of my boss. And then our last but not least, Mors Mortis. My head feels like it's swimming as I attempt to piece everything together. Nothing makes sense. There's still too much information I lack and too little time I have to figure this out. I feel restless, the squeezing of my stomach from nerves doubled by the rapidly growing hunger for something more serious than a cup of tea. It forces me out of my chair and to my door. With the amount of stress I'm under, if I don't eat anything, I might fall sick, and then I'd really have doomed this all. A light meal will have to suffice. Whoa. Pulling the door open, I find myself staring back at two pairs of surprised green eyes. The aspect of death, one hand pulled into a fist, seems to have just been about to knock. Instead, he clears his throat and hides his hand back under his long cloak. I've come at a bad time. He steps back, serene, entirely different from the previous burning display of anger at the city square. It's alright, Natura. I was about to step out for lunch. I see that I won't keep you with my presence. That won't work for me. I desperately need answers. But, I mean, you could join me for lunch. Or it's fine, let's talk in my office. I have to question you anyways. 4 green eyes blink at me and then scan me from top to bottom. You're hungry. Such a feeling should not be ignored. It's fine, this shouldn't take too long. Whatever meaning he finds in my words seems to satisfy him, as he gives me a curt nod and follows me into my office. He makes no effort for small talk, while I move to take my place back behind my desk. That's just my dog whining in the background. Somehow the police silence doesn't rush me. Instead, it lets me sort through my thoughts. Do you prefer having me seated or standing? The question puzzles me, and I catch Mors Mortis once again scanning my face, searching for who knows what as I shrug. I do not mind either way, Natura. We are in your city. And in your embassy, investigator. Do not forget that. I blink as he takes a seat in front of me and removes his hood. I forgot about the ears. And I'm like, oh yeah, ears, so cute. I like them. Ask away. So I do just that. Anything unusual? Hours is a very broad amount of time. But yes, many things caught my attention. For one, my invisibility cloak had disappeared. The joke is on my tongue, but I risk of interrupting, stamping it down like any other intrusive thought. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear, you know, your invisibility cloak has disappeared. I guess it just went invisible, you know, into thin air. I couldn't complete my afternoon patrol yesterday because I was saving a soul in distress from the sudden rain. I can feel his eyes linger poignantly on me as I write that down. And the dead, their immortal souls were restless. His ears twitch and he glances quickly through the room. Even still, their bones seek to leave their graves even if their flesh has been cleaved and turned to wax. How can you tell? I can see them, hear them, feel them, talk to them. His gaze shifts briefly to something above my shoulder, and I follow his gaze but spot nothing. Ooh, spooky. We just, surrounded by ghosts. No biggie. A shudder rolls down on me. Could there be? The aspect of death sighs before his eyes turn to the notes before me. I believe my appetite has completely disappeared. I must, however, persevere. Can the dead interfere with the ritual? Yes and no. Souls have no magic of their own, so while they can wail and bemoan anything, they technically can't interfere with anything physical. Tomb dwellers, on the other hand, bones raised to mindless undeath from magical anomalies and incorrect spellcasting, can always do harm. How so? They're made of magic and death, and they go around spreading magic and death until they run out and crumble to dust. They're dangerous because they lack any cognizance. But they are terribly rare. We scarcely see more than 1 or 2 a season. Cool. You sound certain that the dead aren't responsible for the escape of the Scion of Chaos. I mean, like, are we working to capture the Scion of Chaos? Like, we're like, okay, we have to do the investigation and stuff, but like, what happened to the escaped goddess or wherever the Scion of Chaos? Have we detained them yet? Have we figured out where they are? They have no motive. It's as simple as that. He sounds convinced. I'll look up from my notebook to face him with my next question, and find a pair of eyes on his cheekbones focused on me. The rest of him appears to be looking away. Oh, okay, so his pair of eyes can look in different directions. They crinkle around the edges, almost imperceptibly, before directing their interest elsewhere. Was it tampered with? Yes. How? Morris's eyes fall on the scattered papers on my desk. There were runic configurations on the inside of the cauldron. I blink in surprise. Runes are ancient symbols imbued with magic, most commonly used for spellcasting. But runic is a dead language. Is anything truly dead if memory of it still lingers? The aspect of death reaches out and runs the palm of his hand over a burning candle flame on my desk. He shows no sign of pain as the fire licks away at the surface of his hand for 5, 10, 20 seconds. He inspects it with full curiosity, and find myself mesmerized as the green artwork on the back of his hand comes to life. Okay. Another eye blinks back at me, his painted edges crinkling with familiarity, as if it belonged onto a smiling face. When I look back at Morris, I notice his ears have sharpened, and his bustling tail has frozen in place. Oh, he has a tail? I can't see his tail in the sprite here, but I'm like, hey, he's got a tail? The eyes on his cheekbones have shifted their attention elsewhere. I want to see the tail. His features soften after a split second, and he turns his full focus back to me, pulling his hand away from the candle. Do we know what purpose the rune served? Very few can read this language. Some of the runic shapes used are foreign, even to me. I found out this information, despite the youth of his current appearance. Morris was the eldest of the aspects. Imperial records place his age somewhere in the late 400s. Oh wow, so he's been around for quite a long time. My deaf speakers have already begun raising the spirits of the ancient dead to see if we can earn that knowledge. I'll let you know what we find, but this will take time. The sudden urge to snap at him rises within me. He's given me a week to solve this, but he's the one that needs time. I count to 10, stealing my nerves once more. How long do you imagine it'll take to find this knowledge? By tree gifting at the latest. I grip my tail. It was gonna take him 3 days. I see. I'll ponder the implications of that later. Final question, who do you think is responsible for the incident? The aspect of Death's expression turns unreadable, his eyes flickering away. A shadow falls across his face, and I know he's thought of this already. For some reason, however, he refuses to share. His silence lasts long enough that I'm inclined to write down, refuses to respond in my journal. I play with the feather of my quill as I consider how to follow up on the lack of reply. The spirits know who is behind the freed goddess. Should I assume by your silence that you know who is to blame? No. I can speculate, but it will do nothing but draw suspicion to others who may not truly be the culprit. I feel I grip my quill harder. First, he forces me to investigate his problem for him, and then he refuses to help me. What a frustrating character. I know, right? What is with all these guys? All of them being such little frustrating people to work with one by one. Except for Terra. He's been like the most, like the nicest one. Who's been like really amicable towards us this whole time. Everyone else though, it's a bit of an ass. So you refuse to share anything that could be helpful? Morris sighs, and his large tail rustles against the floor. Your definition of help and mine differ. Your investigation will give you too many threads to follow. All suspects will give you information, but some of it may be twisted in such a way that is false. Furthermore, everyone is likely currently suspicious of everyone else, and that will cause disagreements and confusion. To be successful, an investigator should get to know everyone while being impartial. It's why I think you're perfect for this task. Thanks. And if I fail, I die. What an honor. Great. I got voluntold for this job, and if I don't do it right, they're gonna have my head. There are elements to everyone's behavior that can be dubious, even mine, I'm sure. At this point, almost anyone can be blamed for what happened. I should leave you to the pleasures within the plates. I barely had a moment to blink as the aspect of death rose and put his hood back up, his form towering over me. His cloak carried behind him a scent of fallen autumn leaves and burning candles. He hadn't had a bite or a sip as he made his way to the door. Does he eat though? As the aspect of death, does he actually need to eat anything? I was like, how does he maintain his figure? What kind of exercise does he do? His eyes flicked once again to me and then behind me. Something of a smile crossed his lips. Remember, be a squirrel, not a lamb. The less meat on the bones, the less satisfying the prey. Thanks! Cryptic words. I love that. What a way to end it. Be like, yes, you know, have less meat on the bones, you know, don't know, maybe don't know too much, don't get involved too much. Don't be a juicy suspect. Seems to be the case here. But I mean, yeah, that was interesting experience. Thank you for playing. I guess yeah, we managed to get to the investigation part. So the game takes takes place over the span of 7 days. So it looks like, you know, we got up to the end of day 1 there. But yeah, overall it's been a very interesting experience. Starting with all like the stuff that stood out to me. Interesting, you know, character design. I kind of like a lot of the inhuman elements in most of the love interests here, because, you know, they're 3 of them are kind of like elves, I guess, in a sense, but, you know, they got like some more beastly or inhuman character traits that make it pretty cool. They all have their very distinct personalities that you kind of want to find out about. So I mean, Terra so far has been a very, you know, nice, helpful person. Aqua, super flirtatious. I mean, there's still, you know, tropes involved, of course, but there's still, you know, I feel like there are going to be additional layers of, like, deaths, or deaths. Deaths. Oh my god, the word deaths. Layers, like onions. Yes. to characterization. That make me curious to find out more about them, because it's funny because so far it's just like, aside from Terra, the other three have not really been that positive or amicable towards, our friendly, I would say, towards the main character. I mean, I've liked the characterization of the main player, I guess us the player, the main character so far. The OST seems like very lovely, fitting towards the, like, even in the wherever page we're on now, it sounds really nice. During the banquet too, the music in the background, I like it. It kind of fits the ambiance of, you know, the scene. And there is, oh shush puppy, yes I know. But in terms of other stuff, there is a lot of lore that's happening. I was waiting for the tales. I want to see, because I couldn't really see, you know, with the sprites and wherever. I didn't really get the chance to see Terra's tail. I didn't even realize Mortis had a tail until it mentioned that he had one. So I would have liked to see his tail, actually. Maybe, I don't know, there's other sprites that can show it, or maybe potential character art and whatnot. But yeah, just in terms of the world, so there is a lot of like some world building and lore that's happening in the back. You know, we got and talked about the empires, you know, the alliance between the nations. I think my only thing is that there's so much terminology and lore that was like going on in the game. It would have been helpful to have those bits and pieces added to a journal or a dictionary somewhere to reference it, because a lot is thrown at you while you're not really understanding what's happening. It makes sense that, you know, the game wouldn't explain everything to you, because you, the player, are part of this world. You are from like one of the nations, the empires. It's like common knowledge there, right? So people talk about it as if it's common knowledge, because it is. But to us, the players, who are coming into this world, we're like, what's happening? You know, I'm like, what is this, like, child of like echoes or something, or Scion, whatever it's called? You know, what is the map of this world? I guess how many countries there are. Like, we have to put the puzzles together, but you know, sometimes they'll be talking about stuff and I'm like, I have no clue what this is referring to. I don't have the context for this. There's a lot of info. I mean, like, some of the information too is provided in the story description, you know, in the Kickstarter as well. You can read the details on it, but I like to come into things completely blind, so I'm like then being like, what does that mean? What is an aspect, you know? what is a Terra? So it's like those I have to figure out, and like it kind of leaves me confused at times. So I don't know, maybe it just needs a little maybe dictionary or additional journal entries to help explain those aspects, because there is a lot of world building and lore that's happening in the background. Even like in interrogation, right? We're learning about how the ritual is, and you know, we're naturally finding things out that way. But there's other stuff that kind of gets tossed in there casually, and you're like, what's that? What does that do? What is that? Yeah, so I mean, artwork is very lovely. It's got its own, I guess, unique art style for this game. OST I've touched upon. Yeah, the story, terminology, you know, stuff that's to be nice to be added. Hopefully, you know, with the Kickstarter, they'll be able to reach maybe like the goal, or be able to reach the goal for more voice acting. I think that would elevate the experience even further, to have the voice acting for these guys, hear the emotions a little better. I mean, I try to do my bit with my own voice acting to give it a little more pizzazz, but I think that would be really cool to have included as well. And yeah, this game, I know it's gonna go into the whole, I guess, like recovering from grief and kind of the coping mechanisms for it. Like that is part of the appeal of the game there. I think because we're so early in the demo here that we don't really like, there were some parts like when we're in the alleyway, we're like, okay, try to recall like the worst moment of your life or wherever, that I guess like touch upon it. But I think maybe it's through playing it further we might see a bit more of that. So I didn't really see that much of that aspect, the grief, the coping mechanism, quite yet. But because it's a demo, I understand, these things are probably going to be built on throughout the game. So have to keep an eye and see if that gets further develop essentially. The choices so far are, I mean, some of them are straightforward. I don't know which choices exactly influence the routes. I'm actually not sure too if there is like one route, or you have a common route and then branches off. It seems more like maybe we just get whoever has the highest affection points at the end of the 7 days, maybe. Though I am curious though with the mystery as well. I do like the mystery elements, so maybe like finding out who or what is behind, the kerfuffle, the like messing of the ritual is like gonna be an interesting part to figure out as we play through it. So yeah, Spell Candle by Bottle Monster Inc. You can wishlist them on Steam. They have a Kickstarter, and the Kickstarter has just gone live tonight, so I think I've included that in the description of the video below, so you guys can go click on it and check it out if you're interested in supporting the development of Spell Candle here. It's been a very interesting playthrough of it. Quite the characters that we're facing here. And yeah, I think we can provide feedback too on Bottle Monster Inc. Yeah, aside from that, I think the only other thing I found was there were a couple of spelling and grammar that I found, like some parts like were either spelt incorrectly, or the grammatical structure was just like slightly off, or some things would, like, some words would kind of repeat themselves in the same sentence. So that's like that's to be refined, I would say. But in terms of the writing overall, it's very good. It's it flowed naturally, I would say. So it's just like minor kinks to kind of iron out for this. But yeah, so that is Spell Candle. So I hope you guys enjoyed this journey with me tonight. Thank you all for, dropping by in the stream here, for checking this out with me. Go and support the creators on the Kickstarter wishlist on Steam. And I had a fun time just doing all the narrating, trying to give them the voices, even though I will not be able to do them as much justice as I could. Thank you, Miru. I hope you have a lovely day or evening wherever you guys are. I will see you all on Thursday again when I continue with the Fall in Love Festival. And we'll be, streaming a different game on Thursday and checking that one out too. So until next time then, guys, take care of yourselves. I will see you later on. And this is Koa Miyo, clocking out. Thank you, everyone, and bye-bye.